This is the talk show that takes a no-holds-barred approach to politics, where truth and integrity are the standard and the Constitution honored. From Renaissance Studios, this is Champion News Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome to this great edition of Champion News Talk Radio. We're brought to you by championnews.net, and we are your choice for the conservative voice. This is Carol Parisi. This morning, our founder, Jack Roser, and myself have a very close and dear friend to us, and also Secretary of the RNC, Demetra DeMonte. Good morning, Demetra.
Good morning. Good morning. What an introduction. I'm delighted to be here. I even came through a horrible rainstorm to be here, but I would do anything for my good friend Jack.
Demetra, let me set this up a little bit. You have the position of Secretary of the RNC. That's a Republican National Committee, right?
That is correct.
And you're the Secretary of it.
Yes.
You are not the typist extraordinary.
No, I'm not the typist extraordinary.
You are in charge of the records and many other functions. Secretaries of big corporations are the person that sits at the nerve center of everything that's going on. That's what you're doing. And I'm an old guy, and I've known a lot of the people that worked in the RNC in the past. And some of them are really stellar performers, but not all. And in the state of Illinois here, you have been a wonderful help in getting a better plank, the Republican plank in Chicago that expresses the values that we have as Republicans is a very good one. It had a lot to do with that. You got elected to the RNC from the state of Illinois, and you're very active there, and you're the secretary. And I saw you get seconded. I happened to be watching a program on TV, and I think 16 of your cohorts on the RNC lined up to second your nomination to be reelected as Secretary of the RNC. That's phenomenal.
Wow, that was an incredible day. It was a lot of fun. My election was the fourth. I was very proud of that.
Proud.
I was very happy about that.
That doesn't happen very often.
Well, I was very proud of that.
Can I ask you,
yes.
I think our listeners may want to hear a little bit about your history, though.
Yes.
Because you were not always a Republican.
No. I am I'll just tell you right now, born, raised, educated in Chicago.
You're
the daughter of a Democrat. My dad was a precinct captain. I walked the precincts with my dad. I stuffed envelopes for my dad. I worked at the ward office. I was a Democrat.
The difference is that your father, I've used this phrase before, not just your father, but your father's Democrat is gone.
Yes.
The party left you.
That is absolutely correct.
As it did Reagan and other great
Well, that is when I became a Republican, is with Ronald Reagan. And my dad, in fact, it's interesting, a lot of people ask me, well, your father must have been despondent when you joined the party and you became active in the party. And no, he was happy because his daughter was involved in the political process.
Now, let me ask you something. You're also, your family you're a child of immigrants, correct?
Yeah, well, my dad is an immigrant. That is correct.
And so you're first generation American.
Yes.
They came here for this American dream.
Yes.
And it's probably why he's so proud of you for plugging into this political process, which gives us our freedom and our liberty.
No,
it should.
Absolutely. And I think I take a lot of that with me when I go to the RNC. The members of the RNC, I believe, historically have not been involved in policy. They've been involved in helping to elect people, helping to raise money. But there are many of us, and more, I'm happy to say, who believe that we should advocate policy on the RNC. And that is what we have been doing. In fact, at our last meeting, I just came back from Boston last week, but our previous meeting, one of the resolutions that I co-sponsored was a resolution affirming our traditional principles, which of course included marriage.
About time. You know, the Tea Party people, which I love myself, to that group I mean, are really wonderful people, much misrepresented in the press.
By design. By design.
The press is scurvy. And their loyalty to socialism. So we can't take their opinion. But really, the Tea Party people are involved very much in the traditions that made America great. The policies and the values that you're talking about.
You know what? I'm hearing something, though. You got involved with Republican politics during Ronald Reagan. Jack, you're talking about the Tea Party. Really, cyclically, is there anything different than that Reagan Revolution versus the Tea Party movement?
No. In fact, on the RNC, in addition to the traditional RNC, there are two organizations that are really they're not official RNC programs. One is the Conservative Caucus, which I'm a founding member of, and then there is the Conservative Steering Committee. And these people believe the way I do, and I would say that our Conservative Caucus, we are the Tea Party of the RNC. We really are. I mean, that's because we are getting out there. We are doing things. At the meeting last week, I had another resolution that passed unanimously about the IRS scandal. And I presented a lot of things about that. So yeah, it's a lot of good things are being done.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that IRS scandal resolution. What exactly does that mean to our listeners?
All right. We've all heard in the news how our conservative groups, our Tea Party people, they would try to get 501c4, which a lot of the people don't understand it, but basically the ability to raise money to do all of these good things. They were stonewalled. They were asked improper, in my view, asked improper questions, and some of them eventually just lost heart. They gave it up, or 2-3 years later, they still don't have permission to do that. And then we find out that one of Obama's appointees, out of his office came apparently some of these orders. We don't know exactly who, but it's from his office. But they've not only gone after our conservative people, they've gone after our Republican donors. A lot of our donors have been audited. So it's a terrible, terrible situation.
It's really a misuse of governmental powers.
It's tyrannical.
Obama's done a lot of that. Take a look at the Obamacare. That's Obamacare spelled with a K. He's changed what was passed through the House and Senate. I mean, like it or not, that's the law. And he's modified features of it by fiat that he has really no right to do. He's exceeded the powers of the presidency by changing the law as it was passed by Congress. Actually, it's a crappy law. The whole damn thing should be jettisoned.
Yes.
But he has no right to fiddle with the details as he pleases with executive order. That's beyond the powers of the president.
Demetra, what type of pressure is it going to take for the Republican Party to actually repeal Obamacare? Is the RNC promoting anything for the party to take a stand?
Well, we have had a resolution in the past, but this has to be our elected officials. And I know there's talk about defunding it, and then there's talking about that close down the government, and that if we close down the government, if the government's shut down, that the Republicans will get blamed. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but we cannot fund this thing. I know we can't. If we fund it, it'll continue. Right, Jack?
It's 1/6 of our economy.
We've got a good example in the education system of what one payer does. Your taxes get stripped from you by law and goes into the education system, and you get what the union and the bureaucrats want to pump out your kids. As a result, they don't teach morality or arithmetic. I'm a businessman. I've built 4 companies. I've hired a lot of people. I'll tell you, we give one test to coming to our door, and that's 6th grade arithmetic. 3/4 cannot do 6th grade arithmetic. They fail at it. We give them twice the time on the test, and with that, 50% can pass at the 5th grade level. We will not hire, this is our policy for years, we'll not hire anybody that can't do 5th grade arithmetic. If you can do 5th grade arithmetic, you submit it to discipline, you did some rote learning, and you got right and wrong answers. That's totally foreign to this whole school system that's dominated by the stinking IEA union.
Well, now with Common Core, they don't have to get right answers anymore. It's just the process that's important, unfortunately.
I was talking to a principal just yesterday at luncheon, and he thinks he's been propagandized that this Common Core is a good thing. It's going to cure the problem. Actually, it's dumbing it down.
It is.
And you're submitting to national government control of the education system. We should avoid that like the plague it is.
And now we're going to give 1/6 of our economy, this healthcare, into government control. We're going to be back with Demetra DeMonte, Secretary of the RNC. We're going to talk a little bit about what the Republican Party is doing. You got some technology things coming up, and your resolutions affirming traditional Americanism. I'm looking forward to speaking more with you when we come back after this break, and don't go away.